Hello people, I've decided I'm going to be making a review for The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, and I'm going to stick with this whole bulletin thing, try to keep things quick and concise. So let's just get into it. There's barely any strategy in the combat. All you're doing is spamming B. You're like the entire game. Rarely you have to use other items, but it's mostly just that, and you're like yeah. So you don't get your items in dungeons like halfway through and then use that to defeat the boss. You get them from this guy that you have to rent them from and eventually buy them from. Now there's a reason that this is good, because it lets you do the last 7 dungeons in any order. There's 10 of them, by the way, which is a pretty good amount for a Zelda game. Of course, the reason this is bad is because it kind of lacks that reward that you get for going halfway through a dungeon, beating the mid-boss, and getting that item that you're going to use for the rest of the dungeon. It lacks that surprise and that reward, which kind of sucks. Like I said about it not being surprising, once you have access to any of the items, you can see all of the items you're going to be getting throughout the game, minus one of them. However, there are items that are in the dungeons, there's one in each of them, that is kind of this extra thing you can get. You don't have to get them. I'm pretty sure none of them are necessary, but they are there. They're for improving your health or your damage output, and a couple other things. But those are obviously there in place of those weapons that are normally there in a Zelda game. The whole wall shifting thing was done really well, where you blend into the wall and you can move around. It always felt really rewarding figuring out ways to do that. They're always really smart, and it's one of those mechanics where now when I go to play another Zelda game, I'm going to always want to be able to do that because it was so well done. And like I'm going to go back and play Wind Waker or something, I'm going to be like, I know if I could just blend into that wall, I could go get that, but I can't do it. There's really not much to say about the story. It's a standard Zelda tale. Nothing special. My biggest problem with this game is how easy it is. Like I said, the entire game is just spam B. You rarely have to do anything else. Sometimes you have to use other items for specific enemies, but it's rare. Most enemies just go down by spamming B. And you have a ton of health. You get health upgrades and damage upgrades, which are both basically unnecessary. The only time I actually died in the game was on the final boss, and that's because I just assumed it would be like everything else where you're like, yeah. But no, there was a little bit more to it. So I died because I was just being stupid. I ran in there and died. But then, second time around, I was like, okay, maybe I'll pay more attention, and I got it. Like, it still wasn't hard, I was just being stupid. So basically, the entire game is really easy. Of course, the music is awesome, as it is in every Zelda game. You've got some classics returning. Same with, like, obviously, classic areas, and they have the same music, kind of mixed up a little bit. And there's even an area in one of the villages you can go in. It's like a bar type thing. I know it's a Zelda game, but it's a milk bar, I think. And there's a guy that will play some old music for you, which is kind of cool. I guess I should mention that it's not that great looking of a game, but of course that's because it's on this thing. I don't know, it didn't stand out in any way as far as how it looked, other than the wall paintings themselves. They're kind of cool. That is all I have to say about this game. I wanted to keep it short. Hopefully this is only a few minutes long once I edit it. Hopefully you enjoyed. I would like feedback, some suggestions on what I'm doing wrong, what I should change. Tried to get some on the Battlefield. I tried to make this shorter than the Battlefield one. Hopefully it's good. But let me know. See ya.